Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and this is meant to offend. So if you're offended, good! This just in, SJWs are outraged, by all means outraged over the absurd cultural appropriation taking place all over the US today as so many non-Irish people go out and get drunk for St. Paddy's Day. What was that? Oh, they're not? They're not outraged. They're totally fine with it. That's cool with them. That level of cultural appropriation is fine. Well, they don't consider it cultural appropriation. All right. Well, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that point. SJWs do, however, understand and feel great sympathies, understand the importance of celebrating the Irish, because they have intense sympathies for the amount of suffering that these people underwent as immigrants into this country, how they were treated as some of the worst of any immigrant groups that traveled here, that they had many negative stereotypes applied to them, that their work opportunities were limited, that they suffered severe discrimination in the streets, and oh wait, they don't understand that? They don't care about that? Oh, all right, because Irish people are white. Therefore, they didn't suffer. They don't have the right to their own culture. They don't have the right to any of their own history or any of their own attachments. They are just white people, and white people are evil. Guys, white people are the enemy. We are the bad guys, which means we have a right to nothing. We don't even have a right to our own possessions. If somebody who is not white comes and says, "Give me your house," if you say no, you're racist. So here's the thing that I've never understood. I still don't, right? Because this is, of course, the classic counter-argument. SJWs are outraged every year when Americans celebrate Cinco de Mayo. How could we be so disrespectful to another nation's heritage? And yet, it's not the same when you say, well, St. Paddy's Day, this is Irish heritage. This comes from the country of Ireland. This is their heritage. This is their culture. How is that not a cultural appropriation in the same way? Oh, well, because because white people are just all one people. We're just all the same. We're exactly the same. Because there's more than one derivation of white person in the world. Therefore, we don't get our own culture. We can steal and borrow from each other. So what you're saying is it's totally fine if Colombians want to celebrate Cinco de Mayo on Cinco de Mayo, having absolutely no cultural attachment to it whatsoever, because they are the same color as the people thereabouts, slightly different shades, but they're roughly the same color as the people who celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Is that what you're saying? Is that okay then? That seems like it's fine. That seems like it's totally fine. South Americans, Central Americans, whoever you want, any Latinos can celebrate. As a matter of fact, let's throw Arabs in there too. A lot of them are, the similar shade of skin. Y'all can celebrate Cinco de Mayo as much as you want, because you're roughly the same shade of the people whose country it belongs to, and as we all know, that's just cultural sharing at that point. It's not appropriation, because the only thing that makes us a culture is the color of our skin, obviously. Those are the only values that create a culture. Now, the fun thing is that so as we understand it, there are no separate individual subsets of culture amongst people who are primarily white. No, that is not a thing. However, there's also no white culture. There's no such thing as white culture. No, because white people come from all different kinds of places. We have all different kinds of backgrounds and all different kinds of cultural heritage. So there is no one white culture. Conclusion: white people just don't have culture. We are a bunch of uncultured fucks who don't know anything and don't understand anything, and therefore do not have the right to anything we think we do, or anything we think we own. In fact, just suggesting that white people have rights is an absurd bastardization and abuse of the phrase rights. Because as we know, only people who have been categorically deprived of rights, according to SJWs, have any rights at all. And it doesn't matter what you've gone through, what you've been through, what your background is. You're white. You don't have rights. It's ridiculous. It makes sense. It makes total perfect. It makes perfect sense to make these distinctions, to make these separations, right? To argue that one culture has more value than the other. Obviously, Mexican culture has more value than Irish culture. It just does. It's just more valuable. As if to say that those people don't all exist in this country. As if we don't have Mexican Americans, as we don't have Irish Americans. No, we just have Mexicans. And we should make sure to call them out that way, right? Irrespective of whether they want to identify as Mexicans or not, irrespective of whether they identify as Americans first, it doesn't matter how they identify themselves. We should make sure we're always calling out and harping on the fact that they are Mexicans, because it's really important, the most important thing. It doesn't matter if we single them out or make them feel like other, or separate them from ourselves, or mentally pull them apart and pick them out of the melting pot that is America. What's important is understanding that they have the right to celebrate Cinco de Mayo on May the 5th. That's what's important. It's very important to do that. Now, it's also very important to make sure we're not singling out and acknowledging individualities in white people, because that humanizes us. And if we're humanized, we cannot be universally attacked. And if we can't be universally attacked, then we cannot be the enemy, in which case the entire SJW argument crumbles into dust. And we can't have that. We can't have that, because SJWs didn't have something to be outraged about and didn't have something to be self-loathing about, because let's face it, the vast majority of SJWs are white people. Then they would just cease to exist. God forbid. What a shame it would be if we lived in a world where SJWs didn't exist. Imagine that. If I don't even know, imagine, I could just remember it. It was called my childhood. It was much better. God, I miss the 90s and the early 2000s. The simpler days of the Backstreet Boys and Sum 41. Yes, I just put those two bands in the same sentence. Deal with it! Anyway, that's what I gotta say. If you're offended, awesome! You're probably an SJW. And if you're not, go out and drink some green beer. Have a great St. Patty's Day. Be safe. Don't drive. Or don't drink if you're gonna drive. One of those things. Myself, I will be doing neither or both. That's not true. I'm going to pick one or the other, because I am a proposal. Maybe I will drive somewhere, drink, and then stay at that place. Bam! Thinking right there. If you enjoyed this video, press that like button. Make sure you go ahead and share it and comment on it. All of those things help me stuff and things. All of the interactions you have with my video helps the channel grow so much more than you know. Click on Get Involved with Me if you want to learn more about getting my t-shirts. We got Fifi's t-shirts. They're so great. You should get one. My Patreon, social media links, ways to get in touch with this channel, all of that stuff. So go ahead and check that out. Y'all have a great St. Patty's Day.